Welcome to The Waves Beneath the Crystal Sands, Part 2. Joining us this week, we have Commander Anderson.
Hi.
Portrayed by Nakara of Relay fame. Talor.
That's me.
Played by Stormy Winters of Relay fame. Cooper. Played by Desmarius of Internet worldwide fame.
Yes.
Dagon. Played by Triangularity of Norwegian fame.
Good evening.
We also have Proto. We have Nitro Taipat portraying him. Famous in the wheelchair community.
I am.
You are now. And finally, last but not least, Onan, portrayed by Tofu/Heramus, famous in the clean-shaven community. So to recap, last week, the away team discovered a planet on Morska. It was an unknown city underneath the sand itself. They were taken captive. It's a militarized civilization, and Commander Anderson has agreed to do them a favour to prove that Starfleet are not assholes, but they have also got to compete against the Klingons, who have already got their spiked foot in the door. Captain Talor has decided to beam Folon out, and the Chief of Security is escorting the captain down, alongside Onan, in his stead. So we do have Captain Talor this time.
Excellent.
Exciting. The away team have been taken outside their prison facility and are escorted into a waiting vehicle. The vehicle engine makes little noise, but is still using rubber tyres. Guard gestures for them to get in the car. Each bundle in, one by one. The vehicle makes its way through crowded neon streets. People are busying themselves, going to and fro. There doesn't seem to be any homeless people, but there are quite a few soldiers on patrol. The car arrives outside a rusted old building. This is the environmental building. It shows its age and constant use, and the away team are ushered in. The doors slowly slide open for them, and the team hear grinding metal on metal noise ringing through the complex. There are several metal stairs around the base of the hall. There are 4 floors in total. As for the rest, they will have to find this out. It is their task to repair and get the environmental controls working again.
So, Captain, this is in significantly worse shape than I'd expected.
You don't say.
Getting these environmental controls working again is going to be rather difficult. What do you think, Coop? You're the engineer here.
I really won't know what we're facing till we get in there and really take a look in depth. But kind of with you, it looks pretty. I haven't seen things this out of shape in a very long time. This looks more like a junkyard than an actual environmental facility.
Agreed. Talor, what should be Captain? What should our approach be?
Just have a quick question for the GM. Were we subterranean last game?
It is all subterranean.
Okay, so we're still underground then.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was just... You were talking about buildings and stuff, and I wasn't sure if this was above ground now, or if we were still...
All underground. Which
Okay.
was a bugger to find pictures for, let me tell you.
Well done.
Yeah, we're light on the pictures this week.
All in your imagination. All right, okay. So Fallon reports to me that we had issues with some tricorders last time. Who seems to have one of the few working tricorders?
I have one, Captain.
Shall we scan to see if there's anything we can pick up?
I think that's an excellent first step.
Who's doing the scanning?
Coop.
I am.
Insight
believe.
and engineering, please. Difficulty of 2. You've found that there are 4 floors. It seems that each floor is dedicated to a different stage of decontamination. You're currently on the ground floor. This is where the air and water comes in. It's mined directly from the rock itself. The extracted rock is then stored in tanks, which are to be taken up to the next floor.
So would you say this is a mining facility, or is this just a industry of daily basic needs? Observations?
Probably more of a climate control facility. So they're seem to be mining the rock, this isn't the mining facility, but they seem to be processing the rock for the components they need to control the atmosphere and the water.
From the scan, does it look like there was any unusual properties to the rock or minerals that they're using for their environmental facility? GM?
The rock itself seems pretty much normal for bedrock. Lots of sand, of course, still mixed in there. If you want more information, you might have to do a more intense scan.
I say we do that.
Yeah, Coop, can you try and scan and see if we can locate why the facility is not functioning properly?
I'll do both, 2 different scans.
Okay.
Do an insight and engineering task for me. Difficulty is going to be 4. Because it's 2 scans at once, we'll do for a 4. With that result, you will find that this first floor seems to be in working order, such as it is. It's mining the rock, storing it, sending it up to the next floor. No problem there. After that, your scan is unable to penetrate up to the next floor.
Well, this floor seems to be ironically doing okay. I guess we need to proceed up to the next floor to see if the trouble's on one of the other 3 floors that there are. Shall we head that way, Cap?
Would either you or Anderson be able to tell me what exactly they said to you before I came down? Did they pinpoint the issue that they were looking to fix? Or were they very vague on details?
To my recollection, they were quite light on details other than their climate control was failing and they needed it repaired. And they were hoping that our Starfleet engineering would be able to address the issue. Captain. Should we split up to explore, or should we stay together?
I say with very little to defend ourselves, we should probably stay in a big group.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
Agreed, sir.
Shall we proceed?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All the time with you, there are at least 2 guards armed with Klingon disruptor rifles. You make your way up to the 2nd floor. Things are getting a bit more complicated up here. You need to do a scan for more information.
I'll do that.
Insight and engineering, please. Difficulty of 2. The rock is broken down here by a chemical process. It releases oxygen. The byproduct is toxic water. The oxygen is then filtered into a separate chamber and flows up. The toxic water is isolated, stored in tanks, where it is then taken to the next floor.
Everything appears to be working as it should here on this floor as well.
Didn't say that.
Oh,
Does anybody
So-
see where the toxic water is going?
next floor.
It's going to the tanks, right, on the first floor? Or was that correct?
You've got
GM?
rock being stored on the bottom floor. Rock is then
Okay.
taken upstairs, where it's broken down in a chemical process. During the chemical process, oxygen is released, and toxic water is a byproduct of that. Water is pumped upstairs. Toxic water is
Okay.
pumped elsewhere on this floor, stored, and then pumped upstairs.
Okay.
Anybody else have a concern about the fact that this toxic water is on this floor and we don't know where it is?
And that is following
That's
the
fair,
oxygen
Captain.
as well.
So, Captain, shall we explore this floor and see if we can find any issues with the equipment?
We should.
All right. Coop, can you come with me and see if we can use your tricorder to detect any problems?
Yes, sir.
Insight and engineering, difficulty 2, please.
Is it a fairly big floor?
Yeah.
Can I assist him? Now?
You can. How?
Cool. Rub his shoulder?
You're just checking to see what's broken right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a very good question. I'm not sure how I could assist him with a tricorder scan.
Well, he's not the only one that can do a scan, though, right? We all have tricorders. Do we not?
Yes.
So if other people would like to attempt it, I do believe, unless there's a limit as per GM, we could probably each
That's
take
fine.
a turn.
Okay.
I know you said that the rock is broken down through a chemical process, but are these like machines, or is the only moving parts really the pumps that pump things?
On this floor, it's just the
To
pumps, really,
places.
that are moving.
Okay.
If anyone else wants to do a scan, that's fine. That's insight and engineering, difficulty 2.
All right. I'll give it a shot.
My engineering is not so good.
Neither is
Yeah,
mine.
mine's
I'll
not
give it a
either.
shot anyway. Nope.
Well, since
Is anyone
anybody
else's
can,
tricorder working right now?
let me try mine.
Oh,
There we go.
Well done.
At this stage, you can see that the toxic water tanks are rusted on the inside, but it's negligible because, I mean, after all, it's toxic water. A bit of rust in toxic water doesn't really matter
Right.
that much.
it might just be a chemical process.
Pumps seem to be in working order. Chemicals being pumped in seem absolutely fine. You don't detect any kind of notion of a problem on this floor.
There is no problem on this floor, Commander.
Thank you. Captain, shall we proceed further up?
Please do.
The guards escort you up to the 3rd floor. On the 3rd floor, you see massive compression tanks marked O2.
Um,
And another set of filters coming, well, a pump coming up from the 2nd floor with the toxic water into a filtration system.
okay. Coop, would you like to give it another shot and see if we can find out what's going on in this floor?
If
Just finding out what goes on this floor. Is
okay,
insight-
just kind of. Sorry, go ahead.
general scan to
Yes.
find out the purpose of the floor and things. Insight and engineering
That-
difficulty 2.
That, and I'd like to add an addendum to it if it's okay. I'd like to look for some sort of interface that after I get the general feel of the functioning of the floor, that it might have some like error codes, or if there are any problems, where it might be logged on their
It's
system.
not that technologically advanced.
Okay, just thought I'd check.
Yeah, worth asking.
That's
Yeah,
a
insight and
great
engineering
question.
difficulty 2, please.
Yes, sir.
Here, thought we were just gonna be able to plug Pro 2 in and say what's wrong.
No, it's just another area to look. So
I'll give it a shot as well. Oh wow!
Might as well.
All right, Pro 2.
Anyone else?
we have no clue.
Hey, Captain, do you want to try scanning? Because we're not having any luck.
It said insight and engineering,
Yes, please. Difficulty 2.
complication range 2, and it's only task roll 1, right?
Nope, task rolls 2.
I thought so. See, my thing resets all the time. Oh, terrible.
If you want, in exchange for a threat, I can happily tell you everything you need to know about it.
Well, we do have 2 other people on our team.
What?
That's what the tricorders are saying.
Apparently,
Well, you might as well all roll.
I mean, I believe Onan is an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
well, there you go.
I'm a little bit confused. I don't know where I am. I'm a little bit disoriented just now.
Is this in character or out of character?
Earth.
This is both.
Okay.
Do you have
I
your
know.
character sheet open?
Yes. Should I roll?
Insight, engineering, complication range 2, task roll 2, and then hit the badge to the left of,
Kiosk
like,
Task roll.
just, sorry, to the right of task roll
What was range
2
and task roll?
is 2, and then just hit the little badge beside
He's
the one.
got it.
Oh, there we go.
And
I mean, if I may make a suggestion, you may assist, or someone else may assist, by saying, standing over their shoulder and saying, oh, it's Treknobabble.
oh, yeah.
I'm not going to give you that much of a hint.
Oh my.
I left my Treklopedia at home.
Well, since I actually since there's a bunch of mechanical pumps and whatnot up here, I do have a focus in mechanical engineering, if that helps any.
I guess
Yes.
that will apply.
It does.
Yeah.
I was gonna. What about
Um,
cybernetics? Yeah, they're not that advanced.
So would I be assisting somebody, or is somebody
You can
assisting me,
retry.
or-
I've got no issue with you
Okay.
retrying.
And that was where the focus used.
Commander.
Rigged.
Oh man.
There must be something down here that's interfering with our signals.
Yeah, this whole
press the
facility's
buttons.
interfering. This whole facility's interfering with our signals. It's between the radiation from the rocks and the decrepit nature
Toxic
of the
water.
facility. Yeah, the toxic water's not helping either.
Otherwise, that'd make it
Maybe-
difficulty one, you see.
Maybe if we get several of us, one of us taking a look at the, for lack of better terminology, the incoming volume from downstairs, another person looking at the outgoing volume upstairs, or just that one person, and that
I feel
person
like
assists
you're
the other
getting
person.
way too complicated here.
Oh, okay.
And you said complication range was 2, right?
Correct.
Okay. I'm gonna try once more. Hopefully this will.
Yeah, you can you can keep retrying. It's no problem.
Well, you do know that I just beamed up the one guy who actually rolled really well last time. He meant to stun someone and he actually shot someone to death.
Yes, he did. Kept trying really, really hard to stun somebody and killed them repeatedly. Great.
And that wasn't so good.
It was
Okay, I'm going to give you
entertaining.
one more try, and then I'm going to take a threat and just tell you. Who would like to
Okay.
take the last try?
Okay, so
Oh, why don't
No.
we let the one person roll that hasn't rolled yet?
yeah, definitely.
Captain, if you make someone watch for enemies, I'll try to scan with my tricorder.
I feel like we have the enemies guarding us, so we're good. You go.
Oh!
Oh,
It turns out all we needed was the security officer to do the scan.
Yeah.
we've got
Next.
an android and 2 engineers trying to figure out how the pumps work, and the security guy's like, actually,
With 3 successes, you get a momentum. You're on the 3rd floor. Oxygen is stored in compression tanks. It can hold massive amounts of oxygen under compression conditions. However, it is also quite volatile due to compression and could cause one hell of an explosion. It is filtered through a series of meshes and carbon nets to ensure the oxygen is not poisonous. The toxic water is stored in a tank here and slowly pumped into a filtration system to remove as many of the toxic elements as possible. The resulting water is still not suitable for consumption and must be pumped to the final floor upstairs.
I would like to inspect to see if any of the machinery is acting abnormally.
Insight and engineering difficulty 2 for that, please.
Pro tube. You
Yes, sir.
see, if you just adjust your tricorder like this, and you start scanning for the electromagnetic field variations in the
I
in the
see.
machinery, you should be able to detect how the machinery is functioning.
And
Thank you, Commander.
Commander Anderson can roll 1 die assist with control and command.
I'm also rolling with my engineering focus, so.
Okay.
Ah.
Nice. Very nice.
Oh, wrong way. You now
That
have
was a
3
momentous
momentum.
occasion.
Filtration system is blocked with sand. The toxic water flow system is clogged with rust, seeping toxins into the fresh water supply.
Oh.
I relay that to the
Here's
other
the
2
hiccup.
engineers.
Did anybody ask how many people have died?
It didn't seem like a priority at the time, since our lives were being threatened.
Solutions?
No, it's toxic water.
Solutions on how to fix it.
I guess we can clean it out, but how difficult is it going to be to take this system apart without, the oxygen tanks exploding or the toxic water killing us?
I'd like to remind you there
toxic
is
water-
another floor that you haven't checked out yet.
Oh.
Probably not a bad idea.
Without
Yeah,
the right
there's
talk.
probably- I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a big on and off switch on the top floor.
Yeah, can you imagine? We spend all our time on the third floor just to find out that it would, like you said, it was an on and off switch or a pump on the fourth floor.
And right next to the on and off switch is a purge valve.
Yeah.
Wish I
Also,
fucking thought of
everything seems organized like a stairway to cleanliness or heaven in this kind of way. I would agree with my other folks to say that there is some detoxification on the way upstairs. However, we can't fix toxic water without the right chemicals to detox, to bind the toxicity out of it.
I don't think we have to detox the water. We just have to unblock the system.
I have an
The
idea.
rust may be
Oh,
a
that's
thing
right.
to get rid of.
I have a very basic idea that I think their technology could handle. It's very simple, but it might just work. This idea has to do with the toxic water half that's blocked by rust. What if we made an exterior electromagnet to draw the rust away and to break it up?
That's a good idea because rust is nothing more than a ferrum oxide. Yeah.
Oxide, yeah.
And it's just now. This is only a temporary thing, and that's if we don't find something else. But that's just something to think about.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
the
we-
ferrum will actually act is magnetic, so
We would have to coat the metal somehow so it wouldn't rust over again.
Do any of you have a magnetic personality?
Ooh, my love to your fulfillment, my lady.
Did the Vulcan just make a joke?
I was gonna say, did the Borg do something to you?
Yes. Yes. The Vulcan was slightly altered by the Borg. It's fine.
Ah.
As deadpan as they come.
Well, while they're all joking around, I'm gonna start heading towards the stairs to go upstairs.
I don't think we're that far behind you.
No.
Head on up to the
You're,
fourth
you're
floor.
all laughing and having a good time, and I'm just like, "What mission? Huh? Okay, bye."
You're also an android.
Head on up to the fourth floor. Compared with the other floors, this one's actually fairly clean. There's some monitoring equipment knocking around, and any more information, you're going to need to do a scan.
Okay.
I asked for
Shall
that, thank
we ask the engineer who actually succeeded last time to please scan first?
I mean, I'm not an engineer, but I will happily do so.
Oh no,
He's an androneer. Androideneer?
I was talking about Tofu.
He's
'cause the one who
androgynous?
succeeded last time.
Ooh, I succeeded. Okay. Yeah. Well, I should actually check this corner because it looks pretty. I'm pretty confident that here's something going on which I want to know about.
Insight
That
and engineering,
sounds.
difficulty 2,
Mm,
for a general rundown of what goes on this floor.
Yes.
He's on fire.
How?
Have another momentum. On this floor, the oxygen is given one final quality check and then pumped out into the city through a series of tubes that use pressure to release the oxygen around the city. The water is used in a chamber that is lined with crystals that found throughout the planet. A phased laser beam is introduced, which then boils the water and ensures purity.
Okay. You said that there was monitoring equipment around.
Yep.
Is that like actual monitors that are displaying information, or like
Yeah.
equipment? Okay.
Oh, I
I'm
forgot.
gonna go
You do
up
a
and
scan.
see.
Oh, now you're not going to work. I hate you, voice attack.
I'm gonna go up and see what the monitoring equipment's saying.
Is this also what alerted them to the problem then? Like, is
Potentially.
this monitoring equipment?
I could tell you that in exchange for some momentum or threat.
Well, it's not that important, but
Uh,
I was looking to see if that was a freebie.
Having a look
Okay.
over at the monitoring system is going to require insight and engineering difficulty 1, please.
Okie doke. Nope. I can't read.
Commander Anderson walks up behind his android friend and takes a look himself.
Can't assist if there are no successes.
Can he roll though?
But I was just going to try myself.
In that case, insight and engineering difficulty 1, please.
Insight and engineering difficulty 1.
On fire.
Okay.
Da, 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 da. Crystal lining in the emitter is slightly warped. The filtration system is blocked with sand. Toxic water flow system is clogged with rust, seeping toxins into the fresh water supply. And yeah, there you go.
It's the same information we got before.
No, the crystal.
Except for
You,
the
Well,
crystal warp.
yeah, the crystal thing's new.
I do
Do
feel
I
like
see-
these guys need to update some of their equipment.
says the
Do I
person whose
see-
tricorder doesn't work.
This
Well,
is the.
that- I would like to say that would be the fault of my engineer who didn't calibrate it before I left.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
Uh, do I see anything that resembles something that might turn the system off?
I mean, you could turn the system off, but I wouldn't recommend
Well,
it.
No. I'm not going to turn it off yet. I was just wondering if I see anything that I could use to turn the system off.
I mean, there's an emergency shut-off button.
Okay.
I don't know if we
Probably
want to
gonna-
go there yet.
No.
Probably going to have to turn the system off to fix it, I would imagine.
Wouldn't
Yes.
recommend it.
I do feel
Really?
we need to
We have
identify
to fix
the
it while
problem.
it's turned on. That's awesome.
Well, Commander, it is also pumping fresh oxygen into their living areas, so if we turn it off, they lose life support.
You'd be alright,
Yes,
Proto.
but-
You don't need oxygen. Everyone else does.
Yes, but with the volume of area, it would take a while before they would run out of oxygen.
Under normal circumstances, yes. But don't forget, the environmental controls are fucked. So the environment is not at its optimum.
Yeah. It's not got enough oxygen. Okay.
Good thinking, though.
Well, the only additional information we got out of that was the warped crystal filter.
Yes.
Was it?
Yeah.
So
Are there any maintenance controls?
What sort of thing are you looking for?
Press this button to unwarp the crystal.
No.
You all right over there, Nitro?
Yeah.
I feel like we would have better luck finding a stone tablet with instructions on it for the amount of technology these guys have.
That's fair.
Is there anything
Uh,
on monitoring schematics about either any sort of purge system or access to the areas that need to be cleaned? Or
You can easily access the systems that need to be cleaned or something like that. There's not much in the way of health and safety regulations on this planet.
Maybe we have some foreseen scenarios for eventualities which might come up, so we can check the system upon some templates which are in place, maybe.
My only
Just
concern
Throwing
is
in some ideas.
if we try to clean it, it's going to be at the risk of our health and safety.
But if we don't, they're going to kill us. So,
Well, oxygen,
No.
the oxygen tank's definitely under compression. Is the water tank, is it under pressure, or is it a more of a free flow type situation with
The water's
access?
free flow.
Okay, well, that would make it easier for us to at least remove the rust from that. We just have to worry about contamination.
So we have sand clogged filters, rusted water system, and
Warped crystal filter.
warped crystal in the
Filter.
I'd like to remind you,
Purification.
you have not done much of an intensive scan on this 4th floor.
Because we've been sucking at it.
Captain, I'm going to perform an intensive scan of the equipment on this floor.
Can I assist?
And yes, that was just for your benefit, Shepard.
Yeah, I was literally about to say I'm gonna walk over to the commander and start telling him the same thing he told me about his tricorder.
Can
Okay,
I assist him in this, or does he have to
How are you
succeed
going to assist him?
You have to explain how.
Yeah, you got to trick no babble me.
tricorder. I could use my tricorder to magnify the intensity of the scan by combining the two tricorders together, and the computing processing power as well.
Link them.
That's much better than what I suggested.
Main role then in that case is going to be insight and engineering. The assist in that case will be control and engineering. Difficulty
Okay,
will be
so-
2.
Can you do the main role there, Coop? I'll do the assist.
Oh, okay.
It's all on you, Coop.
Yeah,
Don't let us down.
Well, I didn't get
Oh.
anything, so
Yeah, that's just the assist. Lovely.
it is lovely.
The crystal lining is an emitter crystal, very similar, if not exactly the same, as the emitter crystals used in phaser rifles. It is of impeccable quality and could go up to about 94% efficiency compared with current phaser rifle crystals, which are about 84%, roughly, give or take. I can't remember the exact numbers because I didn't write that in my fucking notes because I'm a moron.
And he said that they found these crystals around the planet.
Correct.
Interesting.
The
That,
crystal
that
lining,
might be why the
the crystal lining,
that's why the
despite being
Klingons are
warped,
interested in it.
could be remolded
mhm.
with enough heat applied.
Oh, okay. So with enough heat,
Um,
we can fix the crystal. Got it.
Our only problem is we don't have our phaser rifles.
Now, DM, you said that all the problems are in the water system, correct? None of the issues are in the oxygen. I know that there was a big emergency shut off for the entire system, but is there a way to shut off just the water?
No. They are linked.
It's a really crappy system.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks, Klingons.
This isn't of Klingon design.
Oh.
No,
The
the
Klingons
Klingon
just
is just their
just couldn't-
muscle.
The Klingons just couldn't help them fix it. Because they're Klingons. Does anyone ever wonder how the Klingons ever managed to achieve warp?
Yes.
Anyway,
Yes.
I think they covered it. I think they might have mentioned in DS9 they bought the technology from the Ferengi or something.
I was gonna say,
think
or
that's-
either they
I think
beat
that's
the
right.
crap out of someone for it.
I think that's
that's
right.
pretty funny.
You
The
know,
Ferengi
back in the
probably-
times, they were quite different people.
It's like
Oh.
Kapla on you.
There is a Frosian in me, so which is, a little bit clingy. I would
guess
say.
our
Alright.
next step is to how do we convince our captors to allow us first of all, who carries a phaser rifle? Not all of us do. None of us.
Oh, none of us have weapons on us.
Yeah.
Well, at all though, does anybody have a phaser rifle in their inventory?
Oh, absolutely, but we
Nope.
don't have them.
Not a Type 3.
I didn't think so. Okay.
But we could ask the Klingon guards if we can use their disruptors to reshape the crystals.
Yeah, I was about to suggest that.
It's a different tech, though, isn't it?
It's all we need is heat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but the crystals to fix it were out of a phaser rifle. Is that not what you said?
No. He was saying that the crystals are much better than the ones in phaser rifles. That's all. That operate that operate the water cleansing system.
Okay.
To reshape it, we
I
just
guess
need
back
heat.
up a bit, but was my understanding was that the crystals out of a phaser rifle could be a replacement for these ones? Is that what I understood? And with some heat, it would modify them.
Basically,
I think he was just saying with heat.
Did I understand that wrong?
phasers use an emitter crystal. The emitter crystal itself is something like 80 to 84% efficient. The crystals that these people are using are basically the same sort of crystals, but are much more highly focused, so they're much more efficient.
Okay, so
No,
I didn't
it-
misunderstand you. Just I was thinking phaser rifles, rifles, not phasers. Okay, so we need to, I guess, find someone to allow us to have our phasers back so that we can harvest the crystals out of them.
Either that or what. I mean, clearly the Klingons are using this planet as a crystal mine because that's where, they said that they got this crystal, and if they're more efficient than phasers, then they really want that. But
I'd like to point
What-
out that your character would know that Klingon disruptor rifles are built differently to phasers and don't use the same emitter crystal.
that was going to be my next question.
Well, I was just
Yeah,
thinking if we could
But
remove
we all
the.
came in with phasers. All of us did. Did we
Mhm.
not? They were just taken away.
I mean, we did at the very beginning, but yeah, they're not here.
Not
I
here.
think the solution is to remove the crystal that's warped, reshape it using heat, and then put it back.
Yeah. Because if I'm
It's
remembering
not a
correctly,
crystal
Commander,
itself that's in there. The lining
Okay.
on the inside is crystal. It's like there's an energy beam that goes in and is
Oh.
refracted because it's light all around the tunnel
Yes.
to boil the water. So it's a lining in the tank.
It's an
So-
inside-out disco ball.
Can we maybe change the wavelength of the warp onto the crystal, which will have a resonance effect with the crystal in some
That's
kind
what
of
I was
way?
thinking.
I
So
do
changing
feel
the
my
input
only
laser?
concern here is if we
Mhm.
change it to the wrong degree, the light's going to be off, so it's not going to do the job properly. This is going to have to be a pretty precise job, I think. Am I
Probably,
wrong?
You're probably very on track there, Captain. But yeah, I would imagine if we could change the frequency of the laser, we could probably heat the crystal.
I think you just touched upon something, Commander. Instead of us trying to manipulate the solid substance of the crystal itself that has been warped, why not just change the frequency of the actual laser beam to compensate for the warping of the solid?
That's not a bad idea.
It would be much easier, much safer.
Huh.
Does that make
Can-
sense? Or am I thinking about it incorrectly, sir?
No, I think that's worth a shot. Okay.
Yeah, because what's the warped crystal causing it to do? Just not heat up enough?
Right, it's not hitting it correctly in the different areas,
Right.
but if we change the frequency, it changes the whole way that it gets refracted. Now, figuring it out, we could do it by, probably by, you would probably be ideal to do the computations for the, what is needed for that change, that frequency change, the logarithms.
Actually,
Probably
I
a simple
fully
calculation.
agree. I think that there could be some sudden deviations when changing the frequency. So his neural network could compensate the necessary deviations, so that we keep a constant change into the behavior of a crystal.
So
Okay, fine.
maybe
Like whoever has heavy engineering or science.
Fuck.
DM.
My
I also
engineering's
have-
no good.
so
I love you too.
so would he be assisting more so doing the calculations?
Mhm.
Who has good
Calc-
engineering?
If
I
Broku's going to do the
think-
calculations, the actual calculations themselves, that would be an automatic success based on his positronic network. That's no problem for him.
Mhm.
Actually
I don't even have to
applying the
roll?
wavelength to the emitter focus is going to be a task.
Okay,
What
I was going
kind
to
of
say,
task?
Prochu, just take the success roll. It didn't go well with you for VTM the last time you said, I want to roll.
Yeah, it's true. No, I was just conferring.
You just look so defeated
So-
and so sad. We're like, I don't get to roll.
Yeah, I want to roll to throw the pillow at Silence's head, and a miss.
Did anyone in the academy go past the 4th year in engineering?
You should have.
I'm more tactical, sir. I only went to the 4th year. Did you go to the 5th year, Dagon?
I have
Lieutenant?
decent science. My engineering is no good, though.
Engineering 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's better than mine.
DM would. I mean, I still don't want to do the main role because my engineering is low. But if I assisted, I do have a focus in repair and tinkering. Would that help?
What?
Ooh,
So,
nice.
okay. So what task was this an automatic success? Was the computations, right?
Computations, yeah.
Finding out the frequency.
But him being an android, would he not also have some insight into the way light moves through crystals in terms of angles and stuff like that?
Well, that's
Yes,
what he was saying.
absolutely. And that's how he's
he
calculated the
could
right
he
wavelength.
assist on the engineer roll for that?
Anyone can
Well, no,
assist with
that
that.
isn't that an absolute success. That the only thing we're rolling for is applying the change.
Correct.
Yeah.
And what would that roll be? Like,
Depending on who does it, it's likely going to be control and engineering, difficulty of 3.
oh, I
I'd
don't. I
also
got good control. I got terrible.
Control
engineering.
11, engineering 4,
Ooh.
and maybe I
Whoa.
can use my. If I'm right, I don't know completely now. My background in transporters and replicators would have some background in resonance frequencies, maybe.
Yes, but
What
not.
about s-
They wouldn't apply in this because this is more like a phaser emitter.
what about cybernetics?
Nope.
Oh,
EPS systems.
we're
Well, he
trying.
said-
I'll give you EPS
Yes.
He
systems.
said.
EPS systems probably is closer.
Yeah.
Well, he also
So,
said that my
I
repair
got
and
that.
tinkering would count.
Mhm.
I
So I could
think
use that on the
I think-
assist.
Coop and Onan have our best roles for this, maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, let's
You can have more than one assist on this.
More than one. Oh,
Yes.
I say we have Onan do it since he has control 11 and
and
engineer
then
4,
Coop
and then
assist.
Coop
Coop assist.
and I can assist.
Yeah, definitely.
Shall-
Let's do that.
Shall we
Alright.
spend some momentum as well?
I
Uh,
would.
well, I would say
Right.
we'll see if we succeed, because if we don't succeed, we can use momentum to re-roll. Can we not?
Correct.
There you
Okay.
go. Let's try that.
All right. Main role is control engineering, difficulty 3.
Go for it, Onan.
Assists are going to be insight engineering, same difficulty, 1 die.
Range is 2.
Range is 3. When you say range, do you mean complication range? Yeah.
I mean, there's complication and range. Okay, focus.
Yes, you are using a focus because you're using, what is it?
Yes,
EPS
yep.
or-
EPS, yeah.
The task
So
roll
first
for
row is
assists.
3.
Task roll for
Second
assist
row-
are 1.
Right.
The main is control and engineering. The assists are insight and engineering.
So
Since I'm doing an assist, and I could be using my computer to do that with my my pack, pad, personal assess display device. Could I use that as my computer focus to assist with this
Yeah,
assist?
yeah, I'll give you that.
Thank you.
But only
Thank
because
you.
I love you.
Aw.
Don't tell any of the others I said that, though.
Okay.
You guys are getting loved?
All right.
favoritism.
I'm going to wait for Onan to make the roll before I
Oh yeah.
do my assist roll, because I don't want to jinx it. Nope. Yep, good thing I didn't do that.
Well, we got lots of success, so we're good.
Yeah,
Excellent.
oh nice. And a momentum. Sweet.
And you've reached your momentum
Ooh.
cap.
Oh,
Which is what, 7?
Nice.
I think so. Oh no, it's
I think it's 6 because it
yeah,
didn't
it's
go up.
6.
6. The emitter gives out on the new wavelength, much hotter. Steam rises up from there, possibly toxic fumes, but nothing too much to worry about. You don't need to evacuate the area. And you hear the clinking and clanking of the metal lining, the crystal lining, moving back into its original form. The system is now
Ooh,
showing
nice.
up at 80% efficiency.
Excellent job, Onan and Coop and Pro 2.
Now, I may be
Love will always
incorrect,
win.
but with the fact that it boils the water at the end, is the rust getting in it like a super big problem? Because
Yes.
wouldn't
Because you
it
ain't
is?
fixed
Okay.
it yet.
well, no, I no, I'm saying that if the water boils into steam, it would leave any particulates like rust behind.
But the
It-
rust was in a different section.
It's down one floor.
Oh, okay, it's causing problems in that section. Got it.
Yep.
I thought it was just making the water
It's-
bad.
I feel like we're working our top to bottom. We're working down.
Mm-hmm.
One problem down.
Can you just say that one again
Next
for me,
hell.
please, Stormy?
Which one? Top to bottom?
We're working from top to bottom.
We're working from top to bottom.
That's going in the bank. Carry on.
I'm afraid to ask.
Oh, I need to smoke after that one.
The amount of times Shiver has asked me to say something, and then I do it not knowing what it's going to turn into is too high.
Been there myself.
I'm such a
well,
tart.
Speaking
What's up,
of-
dog?
Shall
Speaking about
we
these
move
crystals.
to the 3rd floor?
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
move
the
down
only
to
other
floor
problems
and-
were on the. Yeah.
Okay, can you just recap what we're looking at in terms of situation, GM?
The
rust-
filtration system is blocked with sand.
Okay,
Is this water filtration or oxygen filtration?
That would be
Water.
on the 3rd floor.
Oxygen for it was the sand, I believe, and the
Yes.
water was the rust.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought I asked if there was anything wrong with the oxygen, and there wasn't.
How the
Okay.
hell did sand get in the oxygen filter? Who the hell was operating this facility?
Sand is
Possibly.
nothing more than silicium, actually. So
From
well,
the
they're probably sucking some atmosphere out from outside, so some of the
Mm,
particulate from the ground is coming in.
Onan wasn't here for the last one, but the entire planet is basically a desert, which is why they live underground.
Toxic.
I was here and I
atmosphere.
forgot that fact.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Class 8, Class M, desert-like planet.
Yeah.
All right, so rust, and sand.
Where
Rust
is the
is
blockage of sand in
Iron
the system?
and oxygen.
And the oxygen system is under high pressure.
Right. Where? Well, the tanks are under high pressure. Where
Yeah.
is the sand at?
The filters. But I don't know if
And the
it's under
filter.
high pressure in there.
Well, if they're filters, then
The
I mean,
filters are between the second
s-
and third floor.
Okay.
yeah, I say this as if this would make sense, but none of this system has made sense so far. But filters should have access to them because they. Filters should have a way to access to
Says the
them.
cripple who's playing a fucking android. I don't make sense.
I wasn't
Possible
blaming your design.
solution. Would a diluted mixture of the toxic water clean out the filters? Like eat away the rust?
But it wouldn't get filtered out.
It might, but
Well, I
then
didn't
you've
say-
introduced toxic water into the oxygen system.
And possibly rust.
Kill everyone.
Well, they're not
Actually-
our friends anyway, but
Actually, if we heat the rust, it will dissipate into iron and oxygen again.
If you can free
So-
it.
Yeah, if you can heat the rust to, it would be iron and oxygen.
Okay, let's
Separate again.
just a suggestion. Are we going to tackle the water and the rust, or the oxygen and the sand?
First? Because we gotta do
Correct.
both.
Yeah.
I know, but which should we do? What's our
What's,
priority here?
Let's take a look at the Coop, let's
Yeah, can I-
take a look at the oxygen system first.
Okay.
Yeah, can I go inspect where the filters are and see if there's like access panels of
I
some
mean,
kind?
there's... What do you mean by access panels? What are you expecting to find?
Because with filters, like in a air filtrating system, there should be a way to take the filters out and like replace them if need be. So if there's
Or clean
sand
them.
in the filter, we could take the filters out and then excavate the sand inside of it.
well, I
Out.
suggest we do an intensive scan. Did we do that already?
On this
That's
floor, I think so. Although that might have just been to figure out what was wrong.
That's to find out what was on the floor, I do believe.
Let's just maybe do one on the filters and the third
Hmm.
floor.
Because
Okay.
Every
can we focus an intensive scan? GM?
What do you mean by you want to focus an intensive scan?
Like if we did a general intensive scan, I think when we came up on the floor to find out what we were looking at, but can we do another intensive scan to actually like focus it on the air filtration system or
Absolutely.
on the okay.
Control. No. Insight and engineering, sorry. Difficulty of 2.
All right. Who did really well last time?
Let's go with I really liked Hermes's role here. So Onan, would you like
Yes,
to do an
sir.
intensive scan of
I
the air
would like to
filtration
say that poor old Dagon hasn't done a single roll yet.
Oh, he did. He did
No,
that
he did.
successful
he
last
did
time.
one, but
But
I
alright.
agree. He should.
So that you can always retry these. There's no
Yeah.
harm or anything
I
coming from
say,
these.
okay, well, let's let Dagon do the roll, and then we'll see what comes up.
Absolutely.
So, what would the
So you want
attributes and
insight,
discipline be?
insight and engineering. Difficulty is 2, and you want to roll 2 task dice.
Yes. Nope.
I tried for you, I'm sorry.
Well,
I guess now it's Hermes.
We've all had a lot of experience with malfunctioning tricorders in this scenario.
I mean,
It's
normally
this toxic atmosphere.
it's difficulty of 1, sometimes even 0, but yeah, because you're in a particularly hazardous environment. Things are a bit shitty.
Insight engineering. Difficulty
Two.
2. Let's see. So this filters. Damn it! I will find. Let me look here. Sorry.
Do you want to spend a momentum to re-roll that 0?
You don't need to spend a momentum on this. You can all retry for free. It's a
Oh.
repeatable task.
Yeah.
Very often
Well,
in
then
these
let's
games, it's a
all
repeatable
roll
task.
and see what we get. Why doesn't
Inside
Coop
it-
go next?
Yeah, go for it, Coop.
Make our way down the line.
Make sure you give your tricorder a good boot first.
Yeah. And system reset.
They're all,
You're saying I should turn
they're
it
all
on
running
and
on
off again,
LCAR's
sir?
ME.
Yes.
Like I said, someone didn't update the operating system.
So you said the range and the task were both 2, sir?
Yes, please.
Win3K error.
Yes.
See?
Nice.
You do a scan.
See, all you had to do is turn it off and turn it on again.
Yeah.
Hey,
Fixes everything.
nice.
And you find the location of filtration systems mucked up with sand. They are replaceable.
Do they have extra filters? Or are these filters, can we manufacture these filters?
You could clean out
Or-
the filters, or you can just, they do have replacements.
We can,
Coop, you could just take it out and bang it on the railing.
sounds good. Sounds good.
Control and engineering.
I don't know why I didn't
difficulty
think of. Difficulty was.
Filters.
Could you repeat that again? I'm sorry.
Control and engineering difficulty 1, please.
Okay.
Banging. You could have rolled 2 dice there, but it's fine.
Did your
Oops.
sound effects just go off?
Yes.
Yes, they did.
Oh no, the oxygen tanks.
You said
That's-
bang
No!
and something blew up.
That's
Oh,
just the
no.
sound of him banging the thing in the environment hazard, isn't it? Reverberating.
Sorry, was
through.
I being too loud?
I tell you, clogged up filters. No love in that. No love in that.
There's the reason why they say don't eat the beans on the ship.
Captain,
Anderson.
why do you have to tell them about that incident? Jeez.
Oh, was that confidential?
It's supposed to be.
Nothing to be ashamed of.
Don't worry. I tell you a story about my mom soon.
Thanks, Brian.
So yeah,
All
you
right,
successfully clean the filter by banging it against the railing and reinsert it. The filtration system is now clean, but you've still got to deal with the rust.
Okay.
I really liked Onan's suggestion there of heating it, but I'm not sure what's going to prevent it from re-rusting.
Actually, the iron would, if we can concentrate it and heat it, the separation happens on itself. The iron will form itself together, and the oxygen will go its way and float away. It's gas, actually.
You
So
just need to
Yeah.
maintain the heat long enough.
yes, and maybe a problem can be that we then have iron in the filtration system. So maybe that's something else which
That-
we.
That would
I,
get filtered out as soon as it turned into steam on the top floor.
Iron doesn't turn
I'm a-
to steam, Proto.
I'm a bit concerned about heating that
Thanks,
iron
voice in my head.
in a a container vessel full of water. The water will expand in steam, and considering their technology level, it may not be able to withstand the extra pressures.
That's true.
What are you talking about, Coop?
Also-
This facility is in amazing condition.
But
Bits of it
anyway,
fall off onto
the
Anderson as he
iron,
says that.
if the iron will cluck together or clutch together, it will actually have a higher density and will not so easily float. So it may just
point.
drop out the process.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
what
we have to
type
see
of
how it-
temperatures? What type of temperatures do we have to?
1,500 degrees at least.
Is that
Yeah,
Celsius or
that's-
Fahrenheit?
Celsius,
Probably
you said.
Celsius.
Celsius. I would rather prefer Kelvin, but I'm more used to the
Calvin's not
Normal.
here, man.
yeah.
Then I'm worried about the same thing that Coop is, that would introduce. I mean, I know that steam is introduced into the system at a later point, but I don't think that this part of the system would be able to handle it very well. We might end up breaking more than we fix. Although it is flowing water.
Actually, it's 1,153 degrees. No, wait, yeah, in the right circumstances. Sorry,
Unfortunately,
determine-
unfortunately.
1,500 to be sure.
At that temperature, it would probably cause instant vaporization of a lot of the water's volume, which would be catastrophic, is what I'm thinking.
Do we know what part on this floor is causing the rust? Did we
It's the
scan for
inside of
that
the
yet?
tanks.
The inside of the tanks. Okay.
Are there any spare tanks?
So, I'm understanding right that if we get rid
These
of
tanks are
the
massive, by the way.
Yeah.
if we get rid of the origin from the rust, we can maybe flush the system in some kind of way and get rid of the problem that way.
So if we get rid of what's causing the rust, it'll eventually just fix itself.
Maybe. But we need to flush the system with all the clogged up
Yeah,
material.
And we can't
So-
turn it off
Mm,
without killing everyone.
Is there like with the oxygen system? Is there a maintenance hatch or maintenance access for the water system?
Are you volunteering?
On the tanks themselves, yes.
Just wonder if there's some kind of built-in system.
Actually-
for
Did
maintenance.
anyone bring their bathing suit?
Actually, for rust to be able to be rust, there needs to be an electric current in some kind of fashion. So,
That's a
because iron connects with oxygen and it will release some electrons, if I'm right.
Iron
So-
isn't the only metal that rusts, though.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, it's a redox reaction in every case. So, and one electron gets free, and one other binds at the hoop, and yeah. So, an electric current somewhere else and constant electric current somewhere else can actually work against the rust.
Yes.
But that's a very long process, and it has to be stable electric current, and
Does our
it wouldn't get
tricorders
rid of the
not
rust which we have
generate an
now.
electric current?
Hmm?
Our tricorders generate an electric current, do they not?
They probably could.
They do. But
They're no
normally
good for
rust,
anything else.
I have no idea which alien material is rusting here, so maybe we should look into that. and how fast the process is to rust, because normally rust takes years. And
I feel like we're getting
Hours.
way too stuck on what caused it. We're only here to fix it.
that's maybe true. I agree.
Because
There's-
it could be a combination of the fact that there's been buildup of sand, which has impeded a whole bunch of other stuff, because all of these systems seem to work in concert with each other to keep a constant flow of clean water and clean air.
And these tanks aren't pressurized; they're just buffered, right?
Correct. Airflow, he
Okay.
said.
So we're on what,
And
the
So is
third
it-
floor now, or the second floor?
Third.
The third floor still. So is the solution just to send someone in there with a wire brush?
Well, the other question, like, DM, what was on the second floor? Was there... 'Cause
The rock is
everything
broken
is
down
coming-
into a chemical process on the second floor.
And there was no issue there, right?
There was no issue, no. Byproduct there is
So the
toxic
first
water.
two floors were good. Okay. So everything on the first two floors were good. It was just 3 and 4. Okay. Because I was considering, well, what if the problem originated on the second floor coming up, right?
And what exactly is toxic about this water? Is it just
It was a
can't be
song by
consumed?
Britney Spears.
Ba-na-na-na-na.
That's uncurable. Sorry.
She never made it to space. Sorry.
She was a space cadet, though.
We don't know yet. Maybe she's flying around with a red Tesla. I never
Have
saw
we-
that incident.
How
Have
about
we
a,
done an intensive scan like we did for the
We should do an intensive scan of the tanks.
oxygen?
Insight engineering or science, depending on who does it. Difficulty 2, please.
I think our security officer should give that a shot.
Thank you for laughing with me there, Nitro.
Like, I can totally agree that, yeah, we should give Triangularity a chance to play, but yeah, who's the most qualified to scan these tanks?
Oh, I thought it was because the
I think the
security
security
officer
officer.
should give it a shot. I thought that was quite funny.
Well, to be
Oh.
fair, the GM has been very gracious in letting us re-rolls for free, so it doesn't really matter who goes.
agreed.
These are repeatable tasks because you're not under stress or anything like that.
Also, I've
I mean,
noticed
there are
one thing.
Klingons standing around
Oh, they're
with
Morskin.
disruptors.
They're Morskin
I
guards
don't
with
think that
Klingon
they're-
disruptors.
Oh, sorry, Noskins.
Yeah.
I noticed one thing with our group is we tend to try to solve the problem before we scan to see what the problem is.
Yeah, well, what's the
And I'm
problem with
sure that Shiv is sitting there going like, "Oh, shut up and just scan this thing on first."
We have just a lot of love for our own song.
I'm sure he's more like, "I only allotted for 3 hours. This is gonna be 5."
that? Sarah, that is the plight of all DMs everywhere in every game.
Mhm.
Actually, I bet he took a quarter hour just and talked. Oh, that will be enough for 3 hours for them.
I wish.
No, I'm pretty sure he equipped for 3 hours of material that now we've turned into 5. Okay, anyway.
But I'm
We're probably
loving
like
it.
5 minutes
please
in-
roll.
Like 5 minutes into a 3-hour game, it's great.
This is
Super
just the
love
first
that.
paragraph of the game, to be honest with you.
Oh, jeez. See, at least we're not fighting about what to do. We're in agreement. We just take the long scenic route to get there.
You know, I'm just glad I didn't throw in any fucking doors for you, because then you really would have been fucked.
Just push the button. What button? We want. Should we force the door?
Oh.
Has
Just
anyone
knock.
scanned?
We have
the
What's wrong with
panel?
you
We have
people? Just
forced
knock on
to
the
force the
fucking
door.
door.
Well,
Okay.
Well, someone needs force for the door.
Well,
no door.
I think Dagon needs to roll to see if we can find
Go
out
for it,
what's
Dagon.
going on.
Oh, Dagan.
Insight, engineering, or science, difficulty 2, please.
Yeah. While I do the scan, I actually I I will mention quite loud. Maybe these crystals could be an asset to our phasers for
Oh.
developing them.
Yeah, we might have to come to some sort of an arrangement later.
Oh, nice.
Oh, look at this.
Well done.
Are you sure he's a security officer?
He's a born engineer if I ever saw one.
Very talented security officer.
So the metal inside of the tanks is basically what is being rusted because of the toxic water. The toxic water is far too toxic and is actually making it rust on the inside.
Okay.
So even though there isn't anything wrong with the bottom floor, our solution is probably still down there.
It's
Potentially.
up to you to find a
Yeah.
solution. There are many different solutions.
If the water
should
is too
try-
toxic and the toxic comes from below,
Mhm.
maybe we
But the
could
toxic-
search for toxicity.
The toxic, the toxic
well-
come from rocks, though.
Well, and the chemicals that they use to change the rocks to
Oh, yeah.
liquids and
Here's a silly thought. You know, there's a magnetic solution. I think there was something probably good about the
Magnets!
what,
What are they? How do they work?
they work.
Magic.
about Onan Lieutenant Onan was talking about electricity.
Mm.
Since they do have chemicals on site, and since the water is already toxic, why don't we just add enough acid in a concentration to break through the rust and to get it to flow again?
Are you talking about just trying to neutralize the pH of the water?
No, I think he's
But
saying
it's
in,
fine.
I would say yes.
We're not trying to solve the toxicity of the water. It's toxic. What we're trying to do is to get it to flow again because the rust is blocking it, if I understand.
So you want to make it more toxic?
Only, but we're not talking about
Look, he's
over the
a
long term. It's
big
only for a
fan
short
of
amount of time.
conspiracy.
It's only for a short amount of time to get it to pass. It's like
A flush.
it's like cleaning your oven with oven cleaner. It's very toxic. It's very corrosive.
So,
But
j-
once you wipe it up, it's no problem. It's gone.
just to make sure, the toxic water is rusting the containers. It's not corroding the containers, right?
Correct.
So it's
Okay.
Just the
something
in-
about the pH
well,
of the water
yeah,
that's
it's just the
eating away at the
inside.
tanks.
Of the tanks that are affected by the rust from the toxic water.
Well, because if we
Toxic
went with
water.
Coop's solution, I was worried that it was just going to increase the problem, not fix the problem. If we
Well,
Caught
short
if we
term
got
it might
the-
fix it, but long term it might just cause more problems, is what you're trying to say, right?
We could use, instead of just a fishing it out by magnetics, we could just install a magnetic filter that would continually remove any iron particles out of it and the rust particles.
I guess my concern there is you're looking to retrofit a system that may not allow changes that easy.
And
I think-
actually, at some
Oh.
point, the tanks will be gone and everything will just boom. And
I
I'm
can
good
give
at
you
boom.
An idea for 2 momentum, if you'd like.
we have a crap ton of momentum.
Pro 2.
Moment.
Yes,
Can
Captain,
you-
Commander.
Captain Commander, yeah, I got it.
Well, I could
you
also
turn
use the magnet of my badge and just pull out all the little bits all the way
It's a
around.
gigantic tank, though.
There's a bit. There's a bit.
That's the joke.
There's a bit.
Exactly.
Proto, can you turn your skeleton into a giant magnet, like electromagnet?
I don't know, DM, can I do that?
You could, but the problem is, if you magnetize your exoskeleton, you end up turning into a country and western singer.
That sounds fine to me.
Oh,
That
that's
would-
right. Okay, no, I get that reference.
So I think you should magnetize your exoskeleton, jump into the tank, and then we'll pull you back out again, and you'll be covered in rust, and you'll be fine.
Well, if you're a country western singer, that would repel all metal.
Doesn't
No.
slow down.
Sorry, what was that?
Captain
Dragon?
Talor is being recalled to Starfleet Command for a court-martial.
Well, at least I'd be safe. These guys would still be in like death's door.
Totally. All right.
Abandon them all. No.
Hey, I got an idea. So let's try and do this then. Why not?
Okay.
Hold on.
What's your
What was
idea?
Dagan about to say?
Doesn't sodium carbonate and water dissolve rust?
Who has baking soda on them?
Who doesn't?
That's what my pants are made of.
Shit, my cocaine!
Isn't made
Maybe
from
we should dip you
salt?
into the water. I mean, if there was a way, if we had baking soda, we could just introduce it into the system
Yes,
and it wouldn't.
does help. We could do that,
It's
but I don't really see.
That would also
It's
change
all-
the pH of the water, which could change the.
Did you want
And
to
we
suggest
won't
for
get rid of
two
the
momentum?
problem because it's just temporary solution.
I feel like we're being heavily hinted that we need to move on.
yeah. I was about to say. I think we should just spend the momentum.
Yeah.
Because if we
All right.
weren't capped, we would have already earned it back.
I mean, I still think you should jump into the tank, but that's fine.
Have you
Well, if you want to get
considered?
them back,
Have you considered putting a lining on the inside of the tank?
so what?
And what?
No,
a
I
lining?
did not consider that.
I don't even know how we would do that if it was full of liquid
I
already.
guess my question are what materials do we have available?
What materials are easily available and in abundant supply upon this planet that could be used
Oh.
for a lining?
Rock.
Oh, how about that stuff up on the top floor that we heated up?
Close enough!
Or sand. Sand
Ah.
too.
Sand, mixed silicone.
So you're
glass.
talking about using one of those crystal filters. Oh, he's not going to tell us now.
No,
Or sand.
I've dangled the bait in front of you.
You dangled, have you?
I've dangled the
Alright.
bait. I'm a
I
master
don't
at the bait.
know. I don't know what we could turn sand into other than glass that could be used as a coating.
Diamonds. You're still stuck on sand. He's not talking about sand.
But sand, it's coarse and it gets everywhere.
Yeah, but you don't want it in your water, especially toxic water that has to mix to make clean water. Okay, so what was on the 4th floor? My brain went from 4 to 3 because I was like, 4 is done.
Fourth floor was
Fixed
the
everything.
crystal.
There's
Was the
crystals.
inside-out disco ball.
I remember that.
Also,
but
there
was there-
are tons of these crystals on the planet, and presumably they're in the rocks. So we could probably go get some crystals from the rocks and line the tank with them.
or throw them in because if the
Yeah,
water's
win!
if the water's turbulent, the crystals will just mix in the tank like a coarse filter.
The water's not turbulent, I don't think. They're holding tanks. So
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a bummer.
yes.
There's a design flaw.
All right.
So what are we? Once we get the crystals, what do we have to do? Do we have to go inside and?
We send
We're
you in
just-
diving.
No, from what I understand, we just have to line the intake
No,
with the
the
crystals.
no, it's the entire interior of the tank.
Yeah.
Well, really?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Because we're trying to cover the rust up.
Okay, who's gonna get dangled in the toxic water to do that?
I vote for the android.
I do too, because my love is not
Are you okay with that, DM?
endless.
I just love. I say we put the fucking android in. This is why there was a fucking uprising. We need a better union.
I like the fact that I would just be sitting there too, be like, well, I mean, I do not require to breathe, so I do not see a problem with this situation.
All right.
I feel like Onan's been into the drug stash now that Kind's not here.
Yeah, it's probable.
Goddamn Cordrazine.
What do you have against rocks?
All right, so we should go down to the main floor and rifle through some of these rocks to get enough crystals to cover the rest.
You said these were
Everyone-
big tanks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, whatever. Is that plan sound okay to you, Captain?
Do we have a way of executing it? Like, once we actually get the crystals, how are we going to get them in the tank? We're not allowed to open the system. We can't stop the system.
Yeah, we can
No,
open it. You said there's a
the
hatch.
tanks have access hatches. The
When
part
we
where
did
we
this
need to go
scan-
into have access patches.
But I guess how are we going to
Patches?
get them to stick to the walls of the tank?
You lick them first.
Aren't like stickers.
I don't think we have to go into
Electromagnetic.
that, I don't think we have to go into that depth. I think we'll just say we stuck them to the walls of the tank.
Oh,
Those
okay.
crystals,
Yeah, at this
do they
stage,
have
yes.
electromagnetic capacity?
Let's just say they're magnetic
My
crystals.
idea was for you
Properties.
to be able to melt the crystals down, then it would go into the tank, and it would naturally form on the sides of the lining of the tank.
Oh, once it mixed with the water. Oh.
But if you want to send Proto
See,
in,
I-
I mean, it's your game.
I wouldn't have thought
Oh.
of that because I would have thought it would have cooled down into a blob
So,
and
are
then
you
just sat in the
talking-
bottom of the tank.
We can heat the crystals, but not rust.
well, or maybe the
Well,
toxic
he's saying
water
heat
has
the
a
crystals
reaction
and then put them in.
where it actually melts the crystals.
Well, part of the problem with heating the tank.
It's acidic enough.
Yeah, because remember the crystals come from the rocks. The rocks are being chemically used to make oxygen and water, and Shiv is very disappointed in me right now.
No, I just can't look at Triangularity because him and me, we're just loving it. Seeing him trying to restrain himself.
The toxic water is a byproduct, but it still may react with the crystals because the
Well,
It's essentially
I
still the
just said
same
that.
thing.
Yeah, if we throw the
Yeah,
crystals in, it might be acidic enough to melt the crystals and coat.
You do
the tank.
realize that the GM already told us what we need to do, and we're
Yeah.
arguing about it, right?
Yes. And I have fun. I have really, really fun.
Very different crew to the
I
Caliber.
killed Triangularity. You see that? Like a.
You've broken Triangularity.
You know, it's all about the scenic road. It's all about the scenic
All right.
Medical emergency, the security chief has lost it.
So we
need
get
a minute.
crystals, we throw them in the tank, it coats the tank, job done.
Basically.
Ah, pretty much, yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay. Next step.
Do we
Control.
want to do
Portion
it
is
first?
like,
This
well,
was
I
gonna be an
really
ex-
wanted that to take like 5 minutes.
This
It's
was
funny
going to be
'cause
an
he's-
extended task, but at this stage, it's just no, because I want to fucking piss.
It's like bathroom break.
So,
Oh, man. We've already gone through all of the possible science and engineering surrounding the crystals. so
Control.
we're good.
engineering difficulty 3, please.
All right. Control and engineering.
Yeah,
wants to do
yeah,
this role?
I'm on it.
No, okay.
I'm
well,
on
One ends up.
Dagon or Aramis, because they've both been rolling really good.
Oh, yeah, that's right. security
So
officer
far,
would
don't
be
forget.
Ras
everybody
Rama.
else not been doing so good.
I think our security officer should definitely assist because his luck is amazing.
You've got 2 engineers and an android, and the guy that's been fixing everything is the security officer.
Yep. Apparently the rest of us are drunk or something. I don't know.
It's the
I-
toxic fumes.
So control and engineering with a complication range of 3.
Of 3, yeah.
And task roll is 2.
Yes.
May I assist, please?
Yes. I don't want to know how. Just do it.
Okay. That's a task roll of 1, right? And a complication. Oop.
There you go. It's done it. Fine. Brilliant.
We made it.
That was a terrible fucking load of rolls.
Shivers is just so annoyed at us at this point.
Totally abandoned my idea for an extended task because we don't have the time.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Well, I can say we're good at wasting time.
Oh yeah.
I'm just
So you've
picturing
successfully
the
completed the
water.
first
Professional.
paragraph of the mission. The security team that is escorting you move into you and usher you out of the building, where the car is waiting for you. You're ushered in one by one, and then you drive off to somewhere we'll discover after I've had a pee.
Sounds good.
Hey, Shiv, can you say bang for me?
The vehicle drives up, out to the outskirts of the city. The security escort take you out of the car and guide you up a winding cliff path. After a short while, you find yourselves outside the city, at the entrance to a huge tunnel, similar to the one that you all arrived in.
Let's
First
blow
Minister
our
greets
way
you.
out of here.
And says, I see you were successful in repairing the water filtration systems, eventually. This pleases me, but you have not proven yourselves yet. There is a terrorist cell that operates outside of the city. They use these tunnels to evade us, and we do not have the manpower to flush out the whole tunnel system. It's also not fully mapped. I need you and your team to find them and terminate them. Your weapons have
How
been
about we
placed further
just
down. Don't interrupt
about
the
we
First
just-
Minister when the First Minister's speaking, prisoner.
Yes, sir.
Your weapons have been placed further down the tunnel to aid you, but not close enough that you might be able to turn around and attack us. Questions?
Can we blow our way out of here?
So
When you
our
say
objective
blow,
is to clear out the terrorist cell or to stop them from coming in terms of like seal up the tunnel.
we need them terminated. They can no longer be a threat to our city.
And we need Fullen in his stun setting again.
How do you secure that we terminate them?
How would you normally terminate troublemakers?
We would kill them, but do you need a hat?
Do we need what?
Proof.
Do we have to give you a hat or an ear or some limbs?
Sufficient proof
Maybe
that you have killed the leader and the rest of the cell will be sufficient.
Execution is also not the Starfleet way. Is there no way we can bring them back and you deal with them?
We could publicly execute them if you want to bring them back.
This is, in the end, your problem, not ours. We can help, but I do not believe we should be the ones that deal out the consequences.
We could just as easily send the Klingons in to completely wipe them out if you prefer, and then the Klingons would be our friends, and you would continue to remain as our prisoners.
We can bring them back. I just want to be clear that you are okay with that, because
As long as they won't be a threat to us when you bring them back, that would be sufficient.
if you're prepared for a return, then we can agree upon that we will bring them back for justice under your authority.
This sounds like a fair deal. The First Minister just turns, gets in the car, drives off.
All right, let's get this over with. Let's see if we can
Did
find our
we
weapon.
get our? Yeah, I was about to say, did we get our phasers back?
He said that they're further down the tunnel so that we couldn't shoot him.
Oh, gotcha.
GM, did you also say how far we're going, or
The away team enter the tunnel. If you have anything to discuss, now is the time. After a short while walking, about 5-10 minutes, you'll find your way through the dusty, crumbling tunnel and see a weapons cache off in the slight distance.
Now that we're away from the guys there, what will they be like? Maybe we could make some new friends. Just throwing ideas in the room.
If I'm,
I
If I'm
feel like the
remembering
rebel
correctly-
section's going to be much smaller than what is living in the indigenous cities.
if I'm remembering correctly, I think the rebel. Aren't they? Didn't they say that they were Klingon or being led by Klingon or?
No.
Okay.
Is everybody in agreement with the plan?
Yes.
Let's collect our weapons and proceed.
Try not to kill anyone. Unless fired upon, then we'll reconsider options.
We'll do our best, Captain.
Sterling, can we put our weapons to stun?
Yeah, last time that
What's
didn't
that?
work so well.
Who's
Well,
going to walk
but
up
we
to
don't
the
have much
weapons
choice.
cache first?
Me.
As you walk up to the weapons cache, you notice it has been completely looted.
Oh no.
All the fun is with us.
So, should it become necessary to fight, can someone arrange to have some rocks to throw at them?
I'm sure we can
10
find
points
some
to
along
anybody
the
who
way.
gets that reference. Thank you.
If there's some diamonds on the planet, you might be able to fashion some sort of cannon.
Can you say bang for me?
Bang.
Oh. Damn you, voice attack.
As you survey your surroundings, you turn around and you're suddenly ambushed.
Oh
You're all
no.
surrounded. One of the
Again,
rebels walk out and says thanks for the weapons, and we'll make sure to put them to
You're
good
welcome.
use. Now come with us.
You're welcome.
There's someone who wants to meet you. You're individually
Okay.
blindfolded and escorted along the tunnels. After a short while,
Captain, what are we gonna do?
silence, prisoner. You're led into an open room. Your blindfolds are taken off, and you find yourself surrounded by armed civilians. Out of the crowd, a man dressed similar to the others steps forward. So you must be the aliens that has got the city of Shihai up in arms. I'm Oren. I guide these people against Shihai, and we're a declared enemy of the state of Shihai.
Told you
I'm not
they
sure.
are friends.
We're not so popular ourselves.
I know the feeling. So how much do you know about what's going on down here?
Nothing. Why are you outcasts?
Well, 25 years ago, the city of Biodo, my city, was lost. It was the last and most recent attack, pushed by total domination by Shihai. My entire city was destroyed. Me and a small group of survivors managed to escape using the tunnels. These tunnels used to connect all the cities of the world together. There were once 5 in total. Now only Shihai remains. Its thirst for power and domination swallowed and destroyed the rest. And what you see here are survivors of all these cities, those that dissent and see the truth of Shihai and fight for a better way. Our way. You say you're different to the Klingons? We need your help. The city of Shihai is not only being exploited by the Klingons, but they will take over and bring in their own military law here. This is not only bad for us, but I imagine it will be bad for your Federation, no?
Why should we believe you over them? They've told us the same thing. That you're rebels to be exterminated.
They say many things, but we're not the ones who are friends with the Klingons.
Stupid question. Are these Nausicaans as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Morskans.
Molluscan.
Most,
Not Nausicaan.
Sorry.
So what is your main
Racist.
purpose?
We wish to bring freedom, democracy and equality to our fair city. Stop the military law and actually allow people to have freedom. Reinstate the previous 4 cities. And get rid of the Klingons.
So you want to form a new democratic society?
Ideally, yes. That's what we fight for.
What will you do with the people who are in the authoritarian government right now?
They would be given fair trials.
And us, if we help you?
As far as we're concerned, you've broken no laws. You're being held prisoner, the same way that we're being held prisoner.
Can I step away with my group and just have a small
Absolutely, of course.
huddle?
I know you said huddle, but I heard cuddle, and I was kind of.
I
wondering-
actually was talking to the. I was actually more talking to the GM than the actual character. Because no, I don't think a Vulcan would say huddle. Okay, so
If they share with their food with us, they are probably not dangerous. If they want to, so we should to ask them for some fries or something.
It didn't go so well for the Starks.
Now they said that their city fell 25 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
When did the when did the aliens that I'm blanking on the name right now of
Klingons.
Klingon, when did the Klingons show up on this planet? Do we know that?
he would be able to tell us.
Can we trust them?
Well, that's my question. What are your guys' thoughts on one side or the other?
We were pushed to clean out or repair a system under pressure, and now we are here to fight for the other side, and they seem a little bit more relaxed. They don't let us repair their stuff, at least at the moment. So
Well, at the
I'm
moment,
for
we're not
revolution.
being held at gunpoint.
yeah.
Considering this faction is more so wanting their society to go back to normal the way it was before the Klingons, I'm more willing to help this group than the other, especially since they're not trying to kill their opposition, they're just trying to overthrow them.
They could have killed us on the spot.
Hmm.
Well, they also
So they
need our help.
see a need in us. So
I would say we should be a bit careful because they could use us as their weapon to cripple their enemies. We don't know what they are thinking. We should be careful.
Maybe they have a plan which is they should elaborate for us.
I agree. I
So-
think we should find out more about what they want from us.
They should prove that they are not afraid of us and give us our weapons.
If there is a peaceful solution. With our weapons, I would prefer, of course, with our weapons. Yeah.
Peaceful solution with our weapons.
We come in peace. Shoot to kill. Shoot to kill.
If we also figure out more
Right.
information about their collapsed society, we could maybe use that information against the authoritarian side, because maybe they don't know the Klingons potentially shut down all these other cities or destroyed these other cities.
I do feel like they are sincere in their want to better the society and bring it back to a more democratic.
But if we help them to kill somebody, we aren't any further. We don't want to kill somebody, so we need a peaceful solution or plan of them.
Well, they said that they don't want to kill anybody either. Even if they do regain their control over the city of whatever it was called. I'm bad with names. They
Shi'an.
said that they weren't going to execute the people in power there. They were just going to put them on trial. So they don't want violence either. Unnecessary violence, that is.
I do agree. We must find out what their plan is, though.
Yep.
Any other thoughts?
I just hope that the plan isn't to knock on the door and ask to surrender. So,
Well, potentially, if they want to get into the city without the opposition attacking them right off the spot, we could lead them back to, because we said we were going to bring them back anyway. We could lead them straight in there and then let them do whatever they wanted to do.
that
Once
would
we
be
find
in
out what
public
that
execution.
is.
And who guarantees us freedom after we have given over them?
That's why
He
I'm saying
said
we
that
figure out what they
he-
want.
Well, he also said that he knows we are not involved and we haven't committed any crimes, and we won't be held. If we help them, then we can go free. I believe we should at least hear them out.
I think so as well.
Hear them out. I'm
Okay, so I gesture to. Sorry, did you say his name?
Oren.
Or to kind of come forward to speak to the whole group?
I trust you've had enough time to speak with your crew.
We would like to hear what your plans are and have some assurances going forward if we do agree to help you.
We have a plan, but the problem is, until you arrived, we didn't have the means. We
And
want
how
to.
do we fit into this plan?
We're mostly scientists, civilians, farmers. We're not trained in any way. The only thing we've been able to do is disrupt military supply lines. We don't want to hurt people, so we only target the military and buildings at that. However, since the Klingons have arrived, that's changed. They have an embassy of sorts in the city. We can use these tunnels to find information about it, to infiltrate it, and then we can bring that down. Once that's down, we can then attack the government building itself, take out the people who are mostly responsible for imposing military law on our people, and storm and free the rest of our people.
So he sounds like you have people that are being held.
We do. There's a prison inside of the Klingon embassy, and we're going to have to pick it up there next week.
Ah! Finally got somewhere, and
Poor Shiver.
But for now, thank you very much. We'll pick it up next time. Dun dun
thank
dun.
you, Ship.
Thank you, Shiver.
Thank
It's
you
awesome.
for coming. Thank you for
Thank
listening.
you very
and
much.
Another one soon.
Yay!